Okay, so we're live.
Live.
All right. Well, welcome to the morning grind. It can be a grind sometimes if you let it be, but the way to get started and it not be a grind is in gratitude. So it's the first time I've ever done the show without Josh or someone else that typically does the show. So my co-host today is Austin Kepley. Say hello for those of you who don't know Austin. He's be a grind sometimes. There you
Sorry.
go.
Trying to pull it up here.
Be a grind.
Sorry.
We appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, it's still a little bit of a surprise for you. Now, you didn't sleep on that decision at all, did you?
I didn't.
Just like
you
that.
asked me if I wanted to be on it, and I made the decision.
There you go, which is timely. That is the subject of today's show, which we'll get around to in just a minute. But I think we start out with 60 seconds of gratitude. So, Austin, what are you thankful for this morning? What are you grateful for this morning?
I have to say I'm grateful for the people that work within my company. We've kind of made a really big push to move some properties off of our books in the last 30 days, and everyone in our company has been working, day in, day out, weekends, nights.
Now, when you say push, what you're talking about is in your business, you guys purchase, rehab, resell a lot of properties, among other things, but you're talking about finishing those projects, getting those things completed, and moving them along.
Correct. So we had roughly about 20 properties on our books that were in the renovation process, and we wanted to make a really big push to kind of get some of those wrapped up, on the market, sold, whatever the case may be. And so everyone on our team really stepped up, and so far everything's going really well. We should hit our goal.
I saw something the other day that was a little surprising to me. I saw that, and I guess since I'm not in construction like you are, I mean, we're all sort of in related fields, but I've noticed that lumber prices had started to go back down. So
Correct.
It seems like I heard every single day when they were going up, but I didn't really hear anything when they were going down. So I know that's kind of all part and parcel of what you guys deal with and getting materials to get jobs finished, etc. But it made me ask the question to myself, and I'll ask you now, has any of that eased up at all as far as the items and things that you need to get these jobs finished? Are you still waiting on things? Is it getting any better? Give us the state of the state.
I think it's getting a little better, but it's still just backed up traditionally. I mean, windows are still, I think I saw someone yesterday said they got quoted 16 or 18 weeks on windows. I think we're at 12. Most of the time.
What's typical in a normal environment? Before, pre-pandemic, what was the
pre-COVID, I could order replacement windows, and in 3 weeks I'd have them installed at the house.
Okay, so it's still 2 or 3 times a normal.
Correct. And it's still, I think someone, like I said, someone got quoted like 22 weeks or something on some more custom windows. Those are really big holdups. The lumber, there's not really a shortage more than there's just so much demand that the prices are still up. But like you said, they have started to come down, which is a huge relief for a lot of home builders, a lot of construction guys.
Yeah, just getting the stuff, just being able to move forward. Like we talked
Correct.
about, being stuck is the least desirable place. I mean, it's almost like any direction you're going. If you're going, you can start figuring things
Correct.
out. Just being stuck is
Correct.
the challenge.
The prices have still not come down as far as lumber goes, to what they were before the entire spike, but at least they're not just continually going up.
All right, well, go ahead. Tell everybody about your company, and let's name that company so people know when you say you're grateful for that crew.
Yeah,
people that are getting the job done.
Our company's Revolution Home Buyers. We buy, develop, build any real estate kind of here in Middle Tennessee. Most of our business is flipping homes, so we buy foreclosures, probates, any distressed homes, turn around, renovate those, and then put them back on the market.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, very good. All right, thankful for the crew getting the job done this week. Cameron, what are you grateful for?
I would just say family that supports me every day in what I do.
Supportive family. Yeah, absolutely. Emily, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for CMA this weekend.
Yes,
I'm
CMA.
excited.
Oh, you're a big CMA festival person?
Yeah, well, I went for the first time right before COVID. That was the last CMA festival they had, and so I got tickets for this weekend.
Yeah, there you go. That'll be a big time. All right, what are you grateful for, Mr. Freeze?
For good health this morning.
Good health. All right.
Yeah, He stole mine right from underneath me. Good health.
Yeah, good health. But leading up to
Great health.
leading up to the big fight, you got to watch. You got to watch everything, don't you? 3.5 weeks, getting in the what do they call it? It's not the squared circle. What do they call it? Octagon? Yeah, there you go. We got an MMA fighter. Okay, so Austin, you may or may not know this, but on Tuesdays, a lot of times we get into what I like to call my present moment practice. And a lot of that has to do with dealing with the things that come and go in busy sales practices. And you guys are in the construction and home construction and development business, but in the end, you ultimately still are selling that product to an end user. And so you know all the ins and outs and trials and tribulations of trying to stay focused in what you're doing while you have many other deadlines going on and things. And it'd be great to sit around and everybody just sing Kumbaya and just experience the moment. But we know that there's other deadlines and things that you have to manage along with that. So part of that focus and part of that taking things as they come, helping people make the better decisions, not telling themselves stories that influence their decision making. For example, each listing appointment or each loan application or each time you look at a property, it's a unique situation that you have to deal with the facts on the ground right then. Have you ever found yourself looking at a project and then you look up and realize, hey, I really wasn't telling myself the truth. I'm kind of telling myself what I want to hear in a project. Have you ever had that happen?
Oh yeah, we have it happen all the time.
That is the worst, man.
Yeah, we have it happen, especially if we've got sales guys within our organization that they'll go out and look at a property, and their job's to go out there, determine what the seller needs out of the property, determine what we're going to have to spend to fix it up, and ultimately what we can sell it for. And oftentimes, if my sales guy's having a slow month, that what we sell it for tends to be a little more than what I think we could sell it for, and that deal starts to stretch. Where he goes, well, you could, if everything goes perfect,
Who in your life do you have come slap you before you do something that you shouldn't, like overpay for a property? Who your mentors?
Honestly, I probably don't have enough of them, which explains why we have so many properties. But no, I mean, for us, we've, when I first got started in this business, I found that 4 or 5 people that were already in our market doing this. And those are the people that I'll bounce off of. So I've got a good friend, Desmond, up in Springfield, kind of Robertson County area. Anytime I buy anything up there, I'll call him and say, am I crazy for buying this house at this price? And he'll tell me yes or no. So I'm very big about having kind of a circle of people who are better experts than I am.
Do you like being that person for other people?
Yes and no.
Because I know people will ask.
There are days where I don't love it because and it really depends on the question, right? So sometimes I'll get people that say, hey, man, I want to take you to lunch. I want to pick your brain. But they're not asking valuable questions or they're not listening to really what I have to say. So when I sit down and say, well, you're going to have to put in the work, you're going to have to make the calls, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear, well, how do I make $1 million in a year, right? And so that's always a little frustrating when I'm like, you asked for advice, I'm giving you the advice, you just don't want to hear that advice.
Well, all of these things also lead us to the topic for today, which is how long does it take you to make a major decision? Now, I self-confess, as much as I like to stay in the moment, I'm a sleep on it guy, right? If there's a major decision to be made, I tell my kids, and I'm a sleep on it guy. And people ask me, I'm a sleep on it guy. I'm gonna sleep on it. So I'm thinking that most other people are probably that same way too. If it's a major decision, sleep on it. So I walk into Van's office this morning and get ready for the show, and I said, hey. He says, what's the topic for the show? I said, how long does it take you to make a major decision? Tommy, Austin, both make it just like that.
Yep.
Just like that. And you had some good reasons why. So why is it that on a major decision, you would not be a sleep on it guy? Meaning you're going to make that decision right then.
I think partially it goes back kind of to what Tommy was saying. I will make a decision immediately if I know that I have all the information available to me. So if we're assuming that, right, there's nothing else to learn, there's nothing else to
Okay, now super
consider.
good point. Super good point, because if you know me, the very first thing, if you've brought me somebody and said, hey, can you get this person pre-approved, or I'm thinking about buying this property, any of those things, the first thing I'm gonna ask is, or the first thing I'm gonna do is find out what I'm working with.
Yep.
Tell me
So,
a
so
little about 'em.
there's a little discovery period that happens. But okay, now we've got our discovery period done, and now take us from
Yeah,
there.
if I've gone through my discovery, I've got all the facts available to me to make a decision. I'm gonna go ahead and make it.
What's the downside of waiting?
To me, it's one, lost energy, lost momentum in the entire thing. So very rarely am I going to actually say, well, let me sleep on it, because really all that does is that eats up my night with my kids and, all the other things I have to
Speed is
do.
power.
You're a make it
Law.
decision, make the decision right then.
You're making a decision either way. You're making a
Yep.
decision to extend your decision,
Yep.
which puts you into a state of uncertainty.
Does your
what I
inability,
said?
yes, and does your inability to make the decision, which indicates uncertainty, indicate uncertainty to your partners in that
Yes,
decision?
Absolutely.
Yes. You're gonna
Interesting.
feed me doubt.
Interesting.
I'm gonna mirror you. If you're gonna stall, I will feel like I need to stall.
Well, and part of it may be too, when you're leading an organization, and look, when the people in my organization come to me, they expect me to be able to make a decision and make it quickly, right? Because it's their paychecks, it's their life that's on the line here. So unless unless it's some sort of momentum shift within the company, if it's a go or no go decision on a property, I need to be able to make that decision quickly without saying, well, let me sleep on it because I'm not sure, right?
Right.
So
I never wanna be in an uncertain state. I would rather go ahead and make it a no and be certain as opposed to floating around in mystery.
Now, you asked me a really important question. You asked me, Shannon, when was the last time you made a bad decision? I hesitated because I tend to tell myself revisionist history, right? So no matter how terrible of a decision I make, I tell myself that it had this good value as I go forward. That's probably a lie. It's probably someone. But the question was a good one, which is, how, if you make the decision, even if it's not the correct decision, I think you said, and you agreed, you would rather figure out how to deal with the effects of a less than great decision than not have made a decision at all.
Correct.
I hate to hijack the show.
Yes.
Whenever the space shuttle is going to wherever, it's rarely on course.
Okay?
Yep.
It's off course and it finds course. So your worst decisions are probably decisions that you stalled and you missed opportunity and you don't even know it.
Well, here's how we're gonna end the show today. We're gonna end the show today by taking a term that I learned from someone years ago, and I learned it in a way in which I needed to hear it, and it was a time to make a major decision. I was taking too much time to sleep on it. I was costing myself opportunity, and he looked at me and he said, "Boy, do something, even if it's wrong. Take us out, Van."
Shut